Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of The Gentleman, so let's get into it. So, The Gentleman is this new movie from director Guy Ritchie, who is a very creative, different director who has a very unique style. And it's going to be a little hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, but I'm going to do my best. So essentially, this movie is about the criminal crime underworld of the marijuana industry. And this movie stars Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, and Colin Firth. And so they got some big names in here. And with Guy Ritchie at the helm of being a producer, writer, and director, with marijuana involved, you know this can get pretty weird. And this movie was weird, but it was a good time. Guy Ritchie, as I've previously said, has a very unique style, and I would equate that to almost like a diet Tarantino. His dialogue really pops off the screen. It's really unique. It's flamboyant. It's expressive, and that's the same with everything, with his character designs, the way he uses cameras, the sets, costumes, all of it. He has a very unique way of making movies, and most notably, I'd say, is the way he edits his movies. He uses a lot of different visual styles, such as colors and sounds and the lack of color, and using different aspect ratios on different shots. And while that's all said and good, at times, even though this movie is very unique, the uniqueness and the charm of it can actually be a little overbearing to the point where it's almost a lot to handle, and it can be distracting at times. There were times where this movie was so overstuffed with this pizzazz that Guy Ritchie brings to the table that it almost took away from the actual movie itself. And I wanted this to be a little more of a mobster movie told through the lens of Guy Ritchie. However, this is much more of a comedy which has adult themes, is very vulgar, and can be very violent. And you know, that's not to say it's a bad thing. It's just it's a big bucket full of movies and movie tropes, and for the most part it ends up being pretty good fun, and other times it can be really confusing and almost downright silly. An example of this, and you could count this as a minor spoiler, but an example of this is the breaking of the fourth wall, meaning that characters, you know, will address the screen, or they live in a world, you know, outside the movie itself. And you know, that's all said and good, but that's just an example. The biggest thing about this movie, though, is the fact that it's told in a non-linear fashion. It's told from many different points of view, and while that can be fun, it can also get a little tiring after a while. I would have liked a little more cohesiveness to the story, but the way it is told leads to a lot of fun moments. The best way I could describe how this movie is kind of told from a narration point of view is a lot like Michael Peña's character in Ant-Man, when he has that great scene where he recounts scenes from the whole movie, but it's told through his perspective and from his mind, so the characters are speaking his dialogue and his voice. And that's the best way I could describe the design of this movie, is that it's that quirky, and it has moments that are that off the cuff, and some of them really land. Some of them are genuinely funny, and I did laugh at a few times during this movie. Other times, though, it was like, okay, we get it. You're being different. You're being outside the box. They did, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'm not saying that they used the same trope 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but they used so many tropes that were like, you know, okay, you know, you're putting a hat on a hat at this point. But that's Guy Ritchie's style. You know, if you know anything about him, you know he's a very different director. He made the Aladdin movie from 2019, whatever year it came out. It was the live action one. And while I did not see that movie I hear is very unique and fun. And that's the same with The Gentleman. Guy Ritchie's also made the movie The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I think is a really underappreciated spy movie, kind of in the style of James Bond, but I think that movie is just tremendous, so definitely check that one out. So I like Guy Ritchie, and I know what I'm getting when I go into the movie. However, you could tell that this was a pure passion project for him, and that he had full creative freedom, which is not a bad thing, but he was probably left to his own devices and had little to no hold back from producers and stuff. Again, not a bad thing. I just would have liked it to be reined in a little bit because this movie can get pretty off the walls. But for the most time, it was a lot of fun, and I saw it with my mom, and she really enjoyed it too. So I love you, Mom. But yeah, this movie is a good time. Just make sure that you know what you're getting into because it is very vulgar and weird, and it can be off-putting. If you're looking for more of a fun crime drama type movie, you're gonna get that times 10. So just make sure you do a little bit of research. Definitely gonna want to watch a trailer, maybe read a review or two, or watch a review like mine before you go in. But no, I mean it's definitely worth checking out. Even though I probably won't have a desire to see it again, maybe I'll see it in passing on TV. I would say this is a fun time at the theaters, and it's a different time at the theaters, so that's definitely worth something. I give it points for just being what it is because it does not follow the cookie cutter method of filmmaking, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, definitely check out The Gentleman. It's worth the price of admission. So that is my review of The Gentleman. If you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.